Good evening. Hi, and welcome. Welcome to this seminar that we're conducting on behalf of SOIL. Today, we'll be exploring the future of work and how, as HR leaders and members of the HR fraternity, we can contribute to it. So I'd first like to introduce myself. My name is Neha, and I'm a student of the present HRLP batch of SOIL. I've worked with Towers Watson for 4 years before joining SOIL, and then I'm here on this amazing one-year journey.
Yeah, so good evening to everyone who has joined us for this webinar. So my name is Indrajit Chatterjee. I'm a student of the HRLP cohort at SOIL. Prior to this program, I've worked for a couple of years at a mango processing company in Chittoor. And coming to the academic front, I'm a graduate in food processing from SRM University, Chennai. So what we'll do is we'll just set the agenda for this webinar. We'll be talking about what are the trends in human resource management and how the role of an HR executive has changed from what it was before. From being a support system for the business, now it has become an integral part of the entire business of the entire company. So what has really taken place in the HR domain is that the focus on the business scenario has been greatly enhanced. The management now expects an HR executive to be aware of the business and the initiatives that are taken by the human resource team in any company should directly impact the profitability of the organization. And as we all know that technology and AI is here to stay, and there is no escaping from it, whether it's talent acquisition or performance management, employee engagement. In every function of HR, technology is playing a huge role. Like for example, now companies are using blockchain technology to gather background information of candidates to ensure that a good amount of information can be stored in a secured database, and the system of paperwork is not really there at the companies. And one important aspect of HR is diversity and inclusion, whether it's diversity of generations, or gender, or geographical diversity. Everywhere, HR has a huge role to play. Now, we know that the millennials and Gen Z, they are dominating the workforce. And the HR has a critical role in ensuring that the organization culture is pretty much suited to their requirements, and to ensure that maximum output and engagement can be the focused areas in their performance. And then, the leadership development is another area where a lot of focus has been given. Gone are the days when training sessions used to be transactional. Now we have some of the best global leadership programs in various companies, which are aligned to the business needs, and they see a long-term gain in these programs. Even though the investments in these training programs are huge, but considering the fact that the outcome that the companies can gain from these programs, these investments are worth doing. And you see this, the changing nature of the workplace, considering the economic situations of the countries, and the situation where there is a huge amount of talent crunch. Organizations are ensuring that organizations are ensuring that the talent is attracted towards them, and they're making sure that every touch point is taken care of, be it the talent acquisition process or even a simple task of advertising for a role. So these areas are taken care of to make sure that the best talent is acquired and developed so that they can go on to become real assets in the company. And for all these situations, the program, the curriculum, the HR curriculum at SOIL is making sure that these future HR professionals are ready to fulfill the expectations of the industry.
That's right. Thank you so much. Do you want to pause and take a few questions if you're
Yeah, of course. Let's see if we have some questions.
We've got one saying, how is SOIL? I'm sure we will address that shortly. There's another one by Neha Verma who's very happy because she's also from SRM University.
Oh, wonderful.
And she's asking, what's the role of HR in AI in the coming, how is it coming more into existence?
Okay, so before we move on to the curriculum of HR cohort at SOIL, we'll be addressing this very important question. I just mentioned that how crucial AI is for the upcoming generation. And you see, the HR needs to understand that the business strategy of their respective companies. It's very important that if you want to reskill, or let's say if you want to develop your existing workforce, it's very important to understand that what role AI is playing in your systems. Now, for example, we have the IT companies where a lot of jobs are being automated in a drastic way. And to ensure that the same employees are relevant in the future, you have to have a strategic way of approaching it. You need to know that where your company is heading towards in the next 5 or 6 years, and how do you ensure that this set of employees are reskilled so that they can still be relevant in the market. And by having frequent conversations with the respective functional heads and the CEO and the CFOs, you will get a holistic view of what kind of skills are required to ensure that they can handle this kind of automation, this kind of AI. And by following this approach, then you can go for designing and developing a proper learning and development program for these employees. And so it's not that this anticipation has to be done well ahead, and you need to be ready for this kind of an uncertainty, because the rate at which technology will take over it's very fast.
I'd just like to add on, I think as a role of HR, it's very important for us as members of the organization to actually understand the core business of the organization. When a field is developing, like AI, there are a lot of developments that are happening every day, right? We're getting a lot of news as to what we can adapt in our business. But as HR, if we do not have the understanding of the business, we will not be able to understand what aspects of AI should be in place and what we should let go of. So as always, it's not one size fits all. Just because our competitors doing it or other people in the industry are doing it, that doesn't mean that it's relevant for our organization per se. So I think that is one aspect which is very important to consider when we consider the role of human resources in AI. So we have a few other questions saying how important is EQ for an HR? How do you see it? And then we have questions regarding SOIL.
So they have one more.
Great.
Question.
So we've just got a question saying what are the few differences between IIM and SOIL, and can you say a few things about soil? So I think it's good time that we talk about soil.
Yes.
Great. So thank you, Indrajit. That was really nice, the way you just brought everything together and such a beautiful the crux that you've given. I'd like to talk about how I came across soil. So I came across soil, I think, in the year 2015 when I saw the website and I saw the curriculum. And I was working at that time, and what really caught my amazement was how the topics and the things that we were discussing at work were actually subjects over here. So, we were talking about performance management systems, we were talking about talent acquisition, we were talking about HR analytics, which just started. So, all those things were actually subjects in SOIL, at the curriculum at SOIL. And this is something that it really piqued my interest. So, talking about SOIL, it's a unique experience in every way, I think. And you will feel that the moment that you come in for your interview or for your stat test. So SOIL has their own SOIL talent appreciation test, and like the name says, it's more appreciation rather than critically analyzing and judging you or the actions that you've taken, the career choices that you've made. So I'd like to give an example. The time that I came in for my stat test, I was asked to draw a life map. My life till date, and it was unique because just the idea of somebody coming in and asking me about my life was something that really I felt valued at the first touch point that I came to SOIL. And this is what I think is really unique about SOIL. It will not, SOIL will not give you a one-size-fit-all solution. It would, the mechanisms at SOIL are actually that it will modulate, it will change itself in order to, fit you and the way your personality is, the way your characteristics are. And a week in SOIL, you will start every day with a morning circle, which is a ritual that we are really proud of. A morning circle is where all of us come together in the auditorium and we hold hands and we pause and let the positive energy that we have within each one of us flow through the entire community. So it's an important step in community building within the campus. We start with a prayer and then we have the floor open for anyone who wants to express anything they feel like. So this is a great platform where I know a lot of my batchmates have come up and spoken about their experiences, whether it's internships or whether it's their day at SOIL or some activity that they've taken care of. And they've actually worked in overcoming that fear of public speaking. So it's a beautiful experiment. It's a beautiful ritual that we have at SOIL. Then further on in the entire week that we have one day wherein we work for a unique social innovation program, which is every Wednesday, all of the batchmates, we have NGOs assigned to us and we go and we work with them. And this is very unique because we are actually taught, or through this we actually learn how can we apply our management skills in limited resources and how can we actually benefit the community as a whole. So it's not just limited to our workplace, but it goes beyond and we get the planet and the community picture in it. Something that is also that I'd like to point out is other subjects that we have. Like I was talking, I'd like to name a few. This is from the brochure that we have. So we have subjects like performance management systems, which is actually taught by a consultant. Then we have total rewards management, which is again, we have subjects like data visualization. And for data visualization, we actually have a data scientist coming into our classroom and teaching us. So to learn from his experience is what it actually makes it very enriching. Then we have a subject of comp and ben, wherein we have a CHRO coming and teaching us. So he takes a few sessions for us and he's explaining how things are done at the live, at his workplace. Then we have digital workplaces, which is very, very relevant, especially to the changing workplace and how we as HR can embrace it. We have talent acquisition and management, which is a unique subject taught at SOIL, and the person who's also coming and teaching us is also a consultant and a very proud HR faculty. So these are certain things that I'd like to highlight. Along with this, SOIL is a one-year course, and no other one-year course in India gives you a 6-week internship, which is a practical industry internship. So I'd like Indrajit to kind of share what his experience at his internship was.
So, like Neha mentioned, that for a one-year course, it's a very unique program. having a 6-week internship. One of the reasons why the internship is kept in this program is because many professionals here are changing their field from a technology background or a manufacturing background to marketing and HR. So although these courses are fantastic, they're up to date, but it's the hands-on experience that you get in these 6 weeks that actually prepares you for the job scenario. So if I talk about my internship experience, and I was very excited because this is the first time I'm doing something which is related to HR after going through so many subjects. So it was at PPAP Automotive Limited. It's an automotive parts manufacturing company at Noida. And the internship experience has been wonderful because I got to be a part of a live project there. Because the HR in that organization was going through a transformation, and they had lots of plans. They had a lot of initiatives in mind, and they wanted us to be an integral part of those initiatives. And that's the essence of an internship. You get to be in the organization's culture and their thick of things. So what we got to do is the competency structure of the organization that had to be re-established. We got to interview a lot of professionals there. We used questionnaire methods. We got a lot of responses on what kind of jobs they're doing and what are the components of those jobs. What are the required competencies? And then you get to know that if there is a function in a company, then what are the different competencies that are required to ensure that your job can give you the maximum output. So that's something we had to do a lot of research on that. It's not simply because before the internship, we did have an idea on what competency mapping is all about. But then to really understand that these are the competencies which are required in the real world, you do have to do a lot of research. And we came to know that these were the required competencies. And what we inferred is that the organization can update itself to make sure that whatever jobs they're doing, that can be done in a much better way. There can always be a scope of improvement. Because earlier, before the research, they did not really know that you can do this job in so and so ways. And then once you come to know, once this internship experience teaches you that okay, these are the required competencies, that is when you can recommend the management that okay, this is how you can do your job. So these kind of real world experiences can really develop a student and can give a whole world perspective.
Thanks, Abhijit. I had the opportunity to intern with Make My Trip, which is an Indian OTA basically. And it was really amazing because the entire environment at Make My Trip was very different. I had come from a consulting background for a company that was into actual science and consulting, and then stepping into this young culture and seeing how they work, which was really great. And I think what I really want to highlight for both Indrajit and my projects were we actually had solid, concrete projects that we could, and we knew how we were contributing. So for Indrajit also, like he was mentioning, the line of sight as to how our projects and our efforts were contributing in that 6 weeks were very clear, which I really appreciated. And it really gave me the motivation to research more, to study more, and to put in. So let's talk about the Himalayan retreat.
Yes, absolutely.
The highlight of soil, I think one thing that we'll always remember from our entire course. So the Himalayan retreat is a 1-week program that we have in the foothills of the mighty Daulathaar ranges near Dharamsala. And this is the time where all of us, the entire batch, the faculty, the staff members of SOIL, we go. And this is our time for introspection, for reflection. It's that time where we connect to, our own self as well as the rural community around. So the unique aspect of this visit is basically that we get to interact with a lot of villagers that are near and around that area. And we get to interact not only with the villagers, but with the communities that are driving these villages. So the organizations or the social communities that are driving these villages. The entire experience, I think, has been overwhelming because as people in the urban area, when we go back to villages, we have, I think, a lot of misconceptions kind of shattered in that entire one week. And along with that, we got to see how, with the resources that they have, how they make the most of it. It was very inspirational. It was the way that they actually use each and every person's resourcing skill was commendable. So it was a great learning experience. Along with that, it's a great bonding time for the entire batch of soil.
Yes, exactly. So, this 1 week, we could use this 1 week to rejuvenate ourselves, to reflect, to rediscover ourselves. And although, one might feel that, okay, this trip can be used just to enjoy with your friends, but those reflections, they happen in your subconscious mind. And we've had some wonderful sessions with some really eminent personalities who have worked for the society, for the community for a number of years. And we also had the opportunity to discuss, what are the real world problems that the Indian villages are facing. And like Neha mentioned, when we went to the cohort villages, we were really surprised. I mean, the level of efficiency that they had in their daily activities. Women empowerment. They had regular meetings on how to develop their lives, and it was an enthralling experience for 7 days.
It was.
Yeah.
I'd also like to highlight over here that when you come to soil, you don't come only for the curriculum. You don't only come for the subjects that you are studying or the presentations, but you come here for the entire experience of it. So soil basically, it's right to call it a movement rather than just an institution. It's creating that new age of leaders wherein you're thinking not only for the business but also for the community, for your own self, and for the entire planet as a whole. So the five aspects, the 5 values that we have at soil, which are mindfulness, sustainability, diversity, ethics, compassion. These 5 pillars, it's actually 5 pillars of soil, and they drive each and every activity that we do here at soil. So, when we talk about the NGO immersion experience that we have, it's focused on sustainability, it's focused on compassion. When we talk about the high level of industry exposure, it's focused on diversity. So a lot of it's not just a MBA program or a 1-year executive education or a leadership program, but it's actually a 1 year of transformation, as we like to call it, wherein you're investing this time to prepare yourself for the future work ahead.
So I think we can take some questions because they have been pouring in for quite some time now.
So I think one of the questions that has come in is, why are you proud of soil? I think we've already answered that. Yes. How is this 1 year PGP course helpful for freshers? It is advisable to join soil as a fresher. How are the placements? So I think first we'll answer the first part of it, and then we'll handle the placement questions together. Yes.
So just for information, so very happy to say that in our cohort, the first person to get placed is a fresher.
Yes.
And we're very proud of that. It just shows that whether you are a fresher or a person with experience, if you have the right attitude, if you are fitting into the culture of any company, then anyone can get placed. And the scenario here is that for a fresher, it's actually a huge transformation from their academic. They have been in the academic situation, in academic scenario for quite some time now. And to enter into this professional course and going into a company as a fresher in HR, I think it's a huge transformation and something we would definitely recommend at SOIL. So this one-year course will actually give you a holistic view of how an HR should function in a company throughout an employee's life cycle, right from A to Z, and what are the aspects you should take care of as an HR executive. And it's not really different whether you are a fresher or a person with experience. The overall experience in the course is quite uniform.
I think what's very important for freshers or for experienced people who are looking to join SOIL is to have that conviction that you want to do it, because it won't be easy, especially the first time. It will require a lot of effort that you want to put in from your side, because we have so many presentations, we have so many projects, there are industry relevant projects that you have to research upon, and there are various amount of quizzes that we have or exams that we have. So if you have that kind of conviction, I don't think there's an advantage or disadvantage that I would like to mention, because somebody over here is also asking that Arijit over here is asking, yes, anyone who's joining as a fresher, will they be at any kind of a disadvantage? Absolutely not. I don't think there is any kind of disadvantage as joining as a fresher.
I think just one point that we all know. I mean, it's a given point that obviously a person with experience, they will have certain idea of how a company works, and a fresher will not have that. But at the same time, what the institutions really love about having freshers in their course is that they have this fresh perspective. And when you apply that kind of perspective to these courses, and we have seen that in our cohort, the freshers ask questions which are quite refreshing, and the faculty will be interested to answer those questions, because they have a certain perspective. They haven't been at the workplace, so that's the advantage of being a fresher. You don't carry any baggage of your previous work experience. You come with a fresh mind, and your ability to grasp these concepts are quite different from what an experienced professional will have.
So in our batch, there's another question that's asking how many freshers were there in our batch, and yes, how is placement going? Because I heard that freshers are not usually taken by companies. So I'm happy to actually inform you that we had 3 people who were complete freshers, which means that they had just stepped out of college and joined SOIL, and 2 of them are already placed. And the first person, like Indrajit mentioned, to get placed was a fresher, and the other one, they're both placed in very good companies. One is in Mahindra and the other one is in Intellect Design. So I don't think you should have this apprehension that if you're a fresher, you would have some sort of a disadvantage, or it would be the curriculum is the same for all. Once you enter SOIL, we are all equals. The only difference that will make is the effort that you put in.
Absolutely. And it's just to remind that the placement season has just kicked off. And already we have 2 freshers who are placed, so the situation looks quite bright.
Yes. I'd also like to mention that at SOIL we have a very comprehensive and a very elaborate, and something that we take very seriously. We have a very strong mentorship program. So at the moment you enter SOIL, in a few weeks you will be assigned 1 an internal mentor and 2 an external mentor. So an internal mentor will be somebody within the SOIL campus who you can reach out to. If you want to talk about, say, your studies or how you're doing or the areas that you would like to improve. So they would be the people who would be there to guide you at every step. And then you have an external mentor who's an industry leader working in the industry right now and has chosen to be a mentor for you. So we have this, we have a very wide, in fact, a network of external mentors. And you can meet them. So we take time and we meet them once in a month. And we talk about anything and everything under the sun. Whether you want to talk about how things in HR are or how things, regarding your own personal development. So there are these people who actually guide us even after we leave. So I've heard that a lot of alumni who come in are still in touch with their external mentors. this is just great. You have an opportunity, you actually have an opportunity to meet somebody who's not from soil, but who's actually working in the industry and is giving you first-hand information about how things look in that area. So the freshers, I think, would benefit a lot from it. Just because you were raising questions about disadvantages, so that's another thing that we'd like to mention.
So we have a question on what are their packages.
Yes.
I heard that packages are a little less for freshers. Okay, so just to mention that, so the companies who have, let's say, a fixed package in mind. So regardless of your experience, that's the package that you're going to get. However, there will be a few companies who will definitely have this in their criteria. That based on your experience, the package will definitely differ. But most of the companies will have a set package when they come into the campus, and regardless of their experience, that's the package that you're going to receive.
There was another question regarding some tips for the interview as well as the exam. So I think for the interview, it's very important to, for a soil interview especially, it's very important to just pause and reflect on your life and understand why do you want to do this, why do you want to take this 1 year? Because everyone at soil really takes this 1 year very seriously. It's an investment that you're making into your future. So would whatever work that you've done, to be able to share about that. So the interview, I think for sure, saying that it will never be a stressful interview. It will be a conversation. It would be an appreciative inquiry. So they would ask you, about what are the good things that you've done, when were you at your best, and how do you contribute. So it's nothing to be really stressed about. It will be a very conversational kind of a dialogue, right?
Yeah, I think you see the name of this entire process is talent appreciation process. And this is something, I mean, the ones who have already appeared for this interview will for sure give you this feedback that it's a very different process. They will always focus on your strengths, the things that you really love doing, what drives you to do something in life, what motivates you. They really want to know what is the driver in your life that's making you do or take a decision that you're about to take. And if you see the STAT processes as well, the caliber test, they really want to see what kind of personality you have, and what kind of a person you are, which shows that they are just not focusing on the 15-20 minutes that you're spending with them in the interview process, but they also want to dive deep into your mind, which is very important when the institution is taking a decision in the admission process. Okay, so there's a question on could you please share with us your leadership experience and how it made a lasting and positive experience. Okay. So you see, we have a very important course here at SOIL, which is the self-leadership program. And the whole point of this program is that to be an effective leader, it's not just important to know how to lead others, but how to lead yourself. It's all about self-discovery. And that's what we have been taught, throughout these 7 to 8 months, that it's about knowing yourself before you step out into your workplace, when you have huge teams to lead, huge teams to support. And once you have understood who you are and what you're capable of, what are the areas you can improve, that's the time when you can be the most effective. We also have a happiness class every Monday, where we dive deep into the wonderful literature of the Bhagavad Gita, where these wonderful short instances of Bhagavad Gita can instantly be reflected in our own lives. And that really helps us in this entire leadership development because, like our founder and CEO, Mr. Anil Sachdev, keeps on mentioning that the management education is not restricted to finance or HR or marketing. It also goes beyond that. It goes into understanding yourself. And with the, like Neha mentioned, with the support of the mentorship program, the overall leadership experience has been tremendous.
Lastly, about the placement. So if you could just share the details.
Yeah. So talking about the placements, last year's stat. So the average package for HRLP cohort was 8 lakhs per annum, and the highest was 14 lakhs. And some of the top organizations who stepped into our campus for placements are Make My Trip, Aditya Birla Capital, Tata Steel, and then you have Grofers, Intellect Design, Anand Group, and Mahindras. So you see the plethora of opportunities that the HRLP cohort can be a part of in the placement process. So that's the placement highlights for last year.
And for this year also, we just kicked off the placement process, and a lot of companies like Tata Steel has come in, Mahindra has come in, Intellect Design, Anand. There are a lot of companies from different backgrounds that have come in. And this is a rolling process. So we're still in the process of, the entire batch is still in the process of, giving interviews and getting placed right now. There's somebody who wants to discuss the entertainment and development. There's somebody who has shared his experience, I think, and I think Karna, for you, we'd like you to write. We'd actually give your details to our soil admissions office so that they can get in touch with you, because I think they would be the right people to answer your question. And all these questions. Yes. There was Janki who was asking that she has 4 years of experience as HR and she wants to go further into some other course. So I think we've already shared how the program will help you, and I'd like to also share that I also had 4 years of work ex before I came. In fact, we also have 4 other people in our class who have more than 4 years of work ex who've come in. And personally speaking, I think it's a complete experience altogether. The kind of insights that you build in the class is not something that I think I would have attained at the workplace. So I think personally it's a good idea to, if you want to really pursue and further your career, it's a good idea to take that kind of a course and invest in your academics, invest in your career, and invest in your own self most importantly. Training and development in HR.
So the question is from Renu Verma. I want to enter training and development in HR. Could you please guide us many companies who come for that role? So the companies which will be coming for placements, so most of them would not be very specific with a particular function, but we had Infosys, which was the first company to come into the placement process, and they had a training and development role there. And we are expecting that as the days go by and we get into the crux of the placement drive, we expect a lot more companies to come with specific roles in HR. At the same time, there will be many other companies. I mean, most of them would be having roles where they expect the professionals to show an overall holistic understanding of the HR process. But definitely, we'll be having companies who also focus into the niche areas of HR.
Also, having said that, I think the requirements of the companies change every year.
Yeah.
So it actually depends on how the scenario is from the industry end at your time of placement. So, so basically the requirements are driven by what the organization is doing. So that is, I think, one aspect which we need to really consider here when we're talking about learning and development for specific areas. Arijit Das is already joining in. We're glad to have you on board. I think we have another 5 minutes. So we'll just take a last few questions.
Yes. As it is, okay. So Janki Patel mentioned that thanks for sharing your experience, and as it has really diverse culture, need your tips on how one can be cultivated the diverse and inclusive culture. So, okay, so I'm not sure whether you're talking about the curriculum here, but I think, so I'll just answer on what's happening here. So we have students from literally every part of this country, from every nook and corner of this country. And
where are you from?
I'm from West Bengal.
I'm from Delhi.
Delhi, and we have students from Kerala, we have Bangalore, and we have students from Chennai. Yes, Shillong, exactly. So we did, and in fact, I'll tell you something that we have made some of our best friends are from different states, different parts of the country. We have connected so well, and there is absolutely no hindrance whatsoever in connecting with diverse students, because you kind of feel interested to know how they think, what are their what's their thought process, and what are their views, and that's something which is celebrated at SOIL, because diversity, as Neha already mentioned, is one of our core values. So that's something we respect a lot. We celebrate people from different parts of the country.
Like we have celebrations for every festival, major festival of India. So we've celebrated. We just celebrated Guru Purab, we have Diwali, we have Christmas celebrations going on right now. We celebrate, we have Onam as well. So there are different celebrations that are happening. And I think one thing that really drives this diversity at SOIL is the mutual respect that we have for each other. So whether it's the faculty, the staff members, the classmates, everybody, I think, even the support staff of SOIL, something that's really, which I found really attractive and really unique about SOIL is the mutual respect they have, irrespective of what position you hold or in what capacity are you associated to SOIL.
Absolutely.
Renu Verma is asking, do Mahindra, Tata Steel, Aditya Birla coming, and do they come every year or have they come this year only?
So the companies that you have mentioned in your questions, very happy to say that they come almost every year. And these are some of the flagship companies, we really, consortium companies, we really look forward every year, because they come, they hire students regularly, and they're actually an integral part of our curriculum as well, because like we have mentioned earlier, that our curriculum is up to date, and it's based on the requirements of companies, huge brands like these.
And our faculties, I think, go to the length and breadth of the country to kind of understand the requirements that the industry has right now.
Yes.
So our curriculum is updated as the industry's requirements changes. So it's something that's very appropriate at the workplace. We'll take one more question.
Yeah, we'll take one more question. So, okay, I think we are done with it as well.
So, thank you so much for joining us, everybody, and for your queries. We'd like to highlight that you can please visit our website, which is soilindia.net, and you can download the brochure, and you will, I think a lot of your queries and a lot of concerns will also be addressed to our brochure.
So, on behalf of SOIL, we would like to wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year as well. And we hope that you've been able to clarify some of your doubts. And like Neha mentioned, if you have further doubts, you can always write to us. we'll be more than happy to clarify.
And you can also post your queries on the Facebook page that we have, which is Soil Gurgaon India. So you can just search on Facebook, Soil Gurgaon India, and you can post your queries on that. And I'm sure someone will get back to you. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.